Right, well, welcome everybody. I'm Gretchen Winters. I'm Director of Marketing for Bursch Travel, and I want to welcome you all here this evening. Thank you for spending some of your evening with us to learn all about Viking cruises. It's going to be an exciting presentation just because they have so much to offer, and you're going to learn a lot here on the presentation this evening. On behalf of Bursch Travel and Pegasus Travel, thanks for joining us. What I'm going to do is we'll go through the presentation, and if you have any questions, you can put them into the chat box. We'll get to those at the end, or we can also unmute people if they want to ask questions at the end. And then I'll get back with everybody and review on the best way to reach out to your Bursch or Pegasus travel advisor, and the best way to reach them to find out more details, check availability, and work with them on booking your next river cruise or ocean cruise with Viking. So I'm going to turn it over to Rebecca Aiken. She's our account manager with Viking, and I'll turn it over to her. I will shut up and mute myself, and she can take it away and wow you with all things Viking. So take it away, Rebecca.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Gretchen. And thank you to everyone at Bursch Travel. They are absolutely amazing. I've worked with them for a long time, and all the advisors there are just absolutely spectacular people. So you're in good hands with Bursch Travel. And thank you again. I am located here in Minnesota. Some of you might not be in the Midwest, and that's perfectly okay too. But I work with Bursch Travel on a regular basis. So and we're getting some funky weather tonight. The snow just won't stop, right, Gretchen? All right, but hopefully you can kind of think of, think of bigger things and better things on vacation. Hopefully it'll be sunny and bright and that sort of thing, and when you're out sailing with Viking, of course. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and kind of basically give an overview of Viking, kind of give you kind of what to expect when you're sailing with us. And then we'll get into kind of some fun itinerary stuff, some tips and things if you're going to be going on one of these when you book with your favorite Bursch travel advisor, of course. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. Of course, the Viking difference, what you're going to experience when you sail with us is really destination focused. That is really what Viking is all about. We are a small ship cruising, destination focused, culturally enriching, as well as carefully curated itineraries. And a few things I just want to point out here at the beginning are our offer. Sorry, there we go. Our offer for April. This is available to the end of April. $25 deposit and up to free air. So you get this, of course, when you book through your Bursch travel advisor. But not only that, it is our 25th anniversary offer. So that's why it's the $25 deposit and up to free air. Why we say that is because it does depend on the itinerary, and it's select dates, select departures, and select itineraries, of course. So your Bursch travel advisor can really nail that down for you if you really are, if the free air is important to you. So one exclusive offer that you can only get with booking through your Bursch travel advisor is this $100 per person shipboard credit. This is available starting tomorrow for the next 14 days. So the only way to take advantage of this is booking with Bursch. So certainly, please give them a call, and you'll get that $100 per person shipboard credit. And what it ends up being, if you have 2 people per stateroom, $200 in the stateroom, and you can use it on your optional excursions. You can use it on a beverage package and things like that. It ends up being kind of a really nice little addition to your sailing with us. So be certain to reach out to them. All right, now Viking sails 7 continents, 96 countries, 466 ports, 5 oceans, 20 rivers, and 5 Great Lakes now. But really the most important number on this entire slide is the 466 ports. As I mentioned earlier, Viking is known for being destination focused. That is really of utmost importance, not only on our ships feature the destination it's going to, not only with the food, but also with the decor and different things on the ship, but also just knowing that you can kind of bring the destination in. And you'll see that with a lot of the pictures I show you tonight, floor to ceiling windows, things like that you'll experience while sailing with us, and really being able to see the destination that you're sailing to and sailing by, of course. So really another important point about those 466 ports is Viking brings you to the heart of the destination. And really what that means is we have prime docking locations around the world. We own those docking locations, and we can really get you right into the heart of the destination. So you're right there. Literally, you get off the ship and you're already right in the city that you need to be in. So it's really kind of getting you right into that heart of the destination, right off the bat, right off the dock. So And the Viking philosophy has never wavered. For the last 25 years we've been in business. We're not trying to be everything to everyone. So, some people it might be a good Viking might be a good fit for you. And you know what? That's okay. It might not be a good fit too. So we're okay with that. So like I already said, we're a destination oriented cruise line. We offer a highly inclusive product. And really what that means is you really got to take a close look at what's all included in that cruise fare, of course. So we don't nickel and dime you. You don't have to keep taking your wallet out and that sort of thing. We're an efficient operator, which means, like I said, we own those docking locations, but we pass the savings along to you guys as you're sailing with us, so you can experience that as well. But the best point on this slide, honestly, is that we hire the best staff in the industry, right? Like, need I say more? No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. Honestly, we can say we hire the best staff in the industry because it's the crew on board. The crew on board, literally, we treat them like family. So they, in turn, when you're sailing with us, they treat you like family, and you feel like you're that welcome while you're sailing with us, just like as if you're dining with your family in the restaurant on board. And we can say that we hire the best staff because they literally come back. We have the highest retention in our crew members year after year. Our crew members are based on a contract, obviously, on an annual basis, and we have 90% retention. So they come back year after year, and that is absolutely unheard of in the cruise industry in general. So we're very, very proud of that they continue to come back because we treat them so well, and they treat you well while they're on board as well. Excuse me. And what I like to say too about the space on board, what you can experience while you're on board, and as soon as you board the ship. This bottom picture is ocean, of course. The top is river, but you'll see some similarities between the two. The light-filled woods, you'll notice, like, she's holding the handrail coming down the stairs there, but you can't really tell in the picture, but that's a leather wrapped handrail. So you can't really tell in the picture, but you can tell when you sail with us, that those spaces are really, really detail oriented. We took every little detail and really kind of integrated those little details, little important, elegant touches into our ship's design and decor, just kind of overall. I had already mentioned the open, kind of light filled spaces, spacious staterooms, kind of what we like to say, of course, is understated elegance. It's not luxury, but it's also, it's just very country club casual. You'll see I have my Viking. It's cold. I was cold today, so I have my Viking fleece on today. We have a polo shirt too, but that's short sleeve. It's too cold for short sleeve right now. So yes, it's very country club casual. So it's not necessarily a stuffy environment. It's not butlers and white gloves and things like that. It's not that type of experience. So you can even see these guests on board the ship right there coming down the stairwell. They're not, in a formal dress and a suit and tie, or they're not in a bow tie or anything like that, a tux. So that is not at all our style. So just so give you a kind of a little bit of a feel of that. Relaxation is really important. Art, literature, and history. You'll find we have a library on board, and those libraries feature the ports that you're going to visit while whatever sailing you're on. So you'll pick out a book of different things, that maybe different museum that you're going to go to at a certain destination, that sort of thing. So you can check out the book while you stay and read through it, page through it, that sort of thing, and just return it to the library at the end of your sailing. Viking also likes to say what we're not. This is what you're never going to see on board a Viking ship. You're never going to see a casino. So even on our ocean ships, there obviously isn't room on river, but even on our ocean ships, you will not find a casino. There are no slides because we are 18 plus. There are no children under 18. So there are no slides or anything like that either. But the reason for there not being casinos is not because there are no kids. It's because we sail close to the destination. The destination is integral in what we do and where we sail, and you have to be so far out at sea to open a casino, and we don't want to do that. That's not the type of experience it is like sailing with Viking. So that's why there are no casinos. I'm not going to go through every one of these, but I'm just going to point out a couple more. No charge for beer, wine, and soft drinks at meal times, so keep that in mind as well. The no charge for beer, wine, and soft drinks at lunch and dinner. The reason, what you can do is you can get a beverage package. The beverage package is kind of above and beyond. Like if you wanted to have beer, wine, or soft drinks outside of meal times, definitely talk to your Bursch Travel advisor. They can help you book that in advance. So then you don't have to you everything all the extra beverages you have outside of meal times, whether you want to do happy hour or you want to stay up late at night, that sort of thing, you can just add the beverage package and it'll all be included then. So, and of course, if you have water, teas, and coffees, those included all the time. We have a little coffee station right outside the restaurant on the river ships as well, and our ocean ships as well. And you can just kind of go and choose on the little coffee machine what kind of coffee you want, that sort of thing. Um, no entrance fee for the spa. I like to mention that as well. There's a spa picture right there at the top. And what's important about no entrance fee is the spa. A lot of cruise lines, you just walk in the door and basically you pay a fee to use the spa. At a Viking, you do not have to do that. You can use the spa amenities. So you can use the hot tub, you can use the sauna, the snow grotto. Yes, there we have a snow grotto on ocean and expedition. So or expedition ships. I'll explain that a little bit, but you can use those amenities. The thing with that COVID made us do, unfortunately, is that you do have to sign up for a time to use the spa. So just if you want to use the spa, just go sign up for a time and go use the spa at your selected time for the spa. But other than that, obviously, if you want a massage or a facial or something like that, those are the services you have to pay for. But the actual amenities in the spa you can use as long as you sign up for the time. And then, of course, I already mentioned no formal nights, butlers, or white gloves. And another thing, really important, and honestly, a health and safety conscious as well. There's no inside staterooms, all exterior staterooms. It doesn't matter if you're on river or ocean, all exterior staterooms. And each of those staterooms has its own ventilation system as well. So it's really, really safe to sail with us. All right. Moving on. So what do you get when you sail with us, right? You get one shore excursion at every port. And I just want to mention it is every new port because sometimes, well, there's an overnight, right? The ship stays docked overnight in the same port. So if you're staying, as an example, in Budapest overnight, you will only get the one shore excursion in Budapest, even though you're in Budapest for 2 days. It's an extended time in the destination. So you can spend more time at the market or spend more time going to museums and that sort of thing. All onboard meals, of course, are included. Your choice of multiple dining venues, and that refers to ocean and expedition, wine, beer, and soft drinks. I already mentioned that. And then, of course, the beverage package if you want things kind of outside of meal times. Now, a little thing I want to mention regarding the beverage package is it kind of evens out around 2 to 3 beverages outside of meal times. So if you think you're going to have approximately that many outside of meal times per day, I definitely recommend the beverage package. So that's kind of my tip to you. So if you think you're going to do that, definitely have your Bursch Travel advisor add that before you go. And then, of course, I already mentioned the coffees, teas, bottled water, free Wi-Fi, of course. First class hotels, that does refer to pre and post options. So before you get on the ship and sail with us, or after you're sailing with Viking, we put you up in first class hotels if you spend a couple extra days, as an example, in Amsterdam. If you're embarking in Amsterdam, I highly recommend that. And we'll talk about that here shortly. So in-room infotainment system, we'll talk about that here shortly when we talk about the stateroom. And then also the all port charges and government taxes. Really what that means is that you pay your cruise fare and we're not going to come back to you and say, you know what, now you owe us port charges. Well, and okay, a couple weeks later, now you owe us government taxes and that sort of thing. No, it's already included. That's why we say it's highly inclusive. We're not going to keep coming back to you and say, hey, you owe us this and hey, you owe us this. No, it's all already included in that cruise fare. All right, so now let's honestly get to the fun stuff, right? We're going to look over our top river itineraries. I promise you we would be here for days if I mentioned all the river itineraries. So I'm just going to go through the top few itineraries and then mention a few other highlights as we get through it. And then we'll go through ocean, expedition, and a little highlight on Mississippi as well. All right, let's start off on our Grand European tour. So this is 15 days from Amsterdam to Budapest. Now, anytime you see our itineraries, this one happens to be 15 days. You can do any of them in reverse. So you could technically go into Hungary and start in Budapest, and then you disembark in Amsterdam. Any of them can go in the reverse, like I had mentioned. So, and anytime you do see a city listed twice, that is going to be an overnight. So you see Budapest listed twice here and Vienna listed twice as well. So those are two overnights, we'll just say, at the end of this Grand European tour. So it is, like I said, 15 days and 12 guided tours. These are those 12 guided tours that are those included shore excursions. Typically, they're morning shore excursions. So you'll get a ticket at night while you'll be off at dinner, and you'll get back to your stateroom on your bed. You'll have your Viking daily is what it's called. So it's kind of the plan for the next day and some history and different things about the next port. And then your tickets for your shore excursions. If you signed up for any optional shore excursions, certainly have your Bursch Travel advisor book your optional shore excursions. They can help you out with that. And then any of the included shore excursions, you'll have your tickets for that as well. It basically just tells you what bus you'll be getting on, if there's a bus, obviously, or just what we like to call them is the lollipops. They're long sticks with a red letter number on the top combination, and then you just go find the right lollipop, and that tour guide will kind of give you basically an awesome historical tour, orientation tour of the city that you're in. They're really, really awesome and super informational because they're local tour guides. So they tell stories of them growing up and different things. And it's fun to ask them questions about their life in Budapest or Cologne or whatever it is too. So I'm just going to go over a few of these ports here because they're kind of fun. And you're going to see a couple of these cities in the next couple slides too. Amsterdam, like I had mentioned, if you arrive at Amsterdam on the day of embarkation, you won't have any time to spend in Amsterdam. And that's really sad because Amsterdam is a beautiful, beautiful city. They have actually more bikes there than they do people. So definitely, rent a bike, take some time to really explore Amsterdam, maybe go to some of the museums. They have some amazing museums. The Anne Frank house is very, very popular. You do have to book the time you're going in advance. So kind of keep that in mind if you're going into Amsterdam. I believe it's about 2 or 3 months out. So definitely talk to your Bursch Travel advisor about that. But it is within walking distance of where our ship docks too. So I've been told it's about a 5 to 10 minute walk, depending on how fast you walk. So if that's something you want to do on day of embarkation, or on if you come in a few days early, I definitely recommend a few days early. You get over jet lag, you get that sort of thing, and you get to spend some time in Amsterdam or Budapest, of course, on the reverse. So the next day, on day 2, you go to Kinderdijk. And what Kinderdijk is mostly known for are their windmills. So their windmills are the most photographed windmills in the world, and it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So it is an awesome, awesome thing to see and do. There are 19 windmills out there, and it is still they're still all working windmills as well. They'll tell you stories. The tour guides tell you stories about the families that used to live inside the windmills, because the gentleman or whatever used to maintain them and make sure they were still working properly and that sort of thing. So it's super, super interesting. And now Cologne. Cologne, I like to say, and I know my travel advisors always kind of panic when I say this, but Cologne, just in Germany in general. So there's several stops you can see there in Germany. Germany in general can be a very dangerous place. I promise you, we do not take you anywhere that's not safe. And that's not the danger I'm talking about when I talk about Germany. I'm just holding up a little Viking mug here. And the reason for that is because I'm going to tell you a little story about kind of just Germany or Cologne in general, right? So let's say you go to a little brew house or a pub, right, or a little bar. They're usually right there, right along the port, and not far away from the ship or anything. So it's common to go, let's go off the ship and maybe let's go have a beverage, right? Well, let's stop 1 second. In the US, when you go to a bar here, you'll have your beverage, and I know this is a coffee mug, so let's pretend it's a it's a beer stein, right? But your beverage gets low and they ask you if you want a refill, right? Do you want a refill? Do you want a refill? Well, and it gets low again, you do want a refill. Well, in Germany, that's not exactly how it happens. And this is why it's dangerous, right? In Germany, the culture is if it gets low, they just automatically refill it. And they automatically refill it and refill it and refill it. Well, that's where the danger comes in, right? We want you to get back to the ship safely. So the tradition in Cologne here, let's pretend this post-it note here is my coaster, right? So take the coaster from the bottom of your beer stein and place it on top of your mug like that. And that's their signal. That's their tradition in Germany that says, oh, she doesn't want any more. She doesn't want us to fill it up again. So make sure that you do that so you can walk safely back to the ship. Your friends don't have to carry you back, and that sort of thing. So quick little tip there in Germany to use your coaster to put it on top of your beverage if you don't want any more. All right. Well, we'll move on. The next 2 itineraries, like I said, if 15 days is maybe a little bit too long, that's perfectly okay. The next two is going to split this in half. So let's take a peek at the first one. This one is the Rhine Getaway. The Rhine Getaway, of course, just covers the Rhine River. It is 8 days and 6 guided tours. Those are those included shore excursions. Now, I already talked about a few of the stops here in the first part of this itinerary, but the back part of it, I was actually in Strasbourg, France, just this past October. And I took one of our all-day optional excursions. And what that means is I decided, you know what, I'm going to skip the included shore excursion and I'm going to do the all-day optional one that was called the Flavors of Alsace. And now what's special about that is it's called the Flavors of Alsace because you literally eat all day long. But you get a little bit of everything the French have to offer, right? So I say I'm recommending if you go to Strasbourg and you do that optional excursion, you have a very light breakfast, and you enjoy all the eclairs and pretzels and gingerbread and macaroons and flambe. What else did I have? Escargot, wine and cheese pairings. I know there was more. Um, you just kind of walk to the little cheese shop and you have some cheese, and you walk to a different shop and you pick up some bread and you pick up some, it's a lot. It's a lot of food, and it's a lot of fun learning about kind of the French culture and the French food. But the bad thing about that excursion, I would never say anything bad, right? But the bad thing is you get back to the ship and guess what? It's dinner time. You've been eating and drinking all day long, and then you eat some more. Well, you can't just turn down the food. Of course, you're going to eat dinner while you get back on board. So yes, it is a lot of eating that day, but it is very, very, very delicious food. And then Breisach, kind of moving on to Breisach in Germany. Breisach is known for a few things. Germany in general is, of course, known for their mustard, their sausages, of course, but also cuckoo clocks. But not only that, they're also known for the Black Forest and their Black Forest cake. It's a really delicious dessert. It's kind of dessert with some cherry liqueur in it, some chocolate and that sort of thing. So how can you go wrong, right? I did try some. We serve destination dining, so we serve Black Forest cake if you want to try it at dinner that night in Breisach. So you have to try it, or try it while you're in Breisach too. I did an optional excursion this day too, and I did an e-bike tour through the Black Forest. Absolutely amazing opportunity. E-bikes, we have them here in the US too, but those e-bike tours, you basically just have to know how to ride a bike, and there's 5 different levels. And if you have it on turbo the whole time, you basically do no work at all. So it's really, you don't have to really have any athletic ability whatsoever. Just have to know how to, of course, balance on a bike. And the end of that tour, the one I took anyways, we had a little reward at the end. We had a little shot of honey schnapps. So it was a nice, a nice little reward after an e-bike tour. And of course, we ended there in Basel, Switzerland as well. So I definitely recommend a post there in Basel. We do a Lucerne, we do a Lake Como post after you get off the ship, that sort of thing, a couple days in Switzerland. Absolutely amazing. Go to the Lindt chocolate factory. There's some cheese making, little local cheese making factories and things like that too, that you can go help and make your own cheese to bring home. So a lot of fun. Certainly something to consider while you're there in Switzerland. All right, the other half of that Grand European tour is this romantic Danube. We actually have 2 different itineraries. We have one called the Danube Waltz as well, but I like to feature this one, the romantic Danube, and because of the reason for that is this one is really, really popular because it has the most overnights. It's our itinerary with 3 different cities with overnights. We have overnights in Budapest, Vienna, as well as Regensburg, Germany. So that's why this one is so popular. There is a half day of scenic sailing on this Danube, on the romantic Danube as well. The half day of scenic sailing is actually really amazing because you can if you have a veranda, we'll talk about that shortly, but if you have a veranda, you can sit outside the veranda and listen to our program director talk about all the castles and cathedrals and things that you're passing along the river. Or I highly recommend you just go sit on top of the sun deck. On the sun deck, you can see both sides of the river. And you can see whatever she's talking about. It might happen to be a woman, so I'm saying she, but your program director might be male. And she was saying, what wars it overcame and different things. So it's really, really, you're not just passing by like thinking like, wow, what is that? I wonder what that is. No, they actually talk about it and explain what it is and the history behind it. So it was really, really interesting. Now, Budapest here, like I said, the 3 overnights, of course, on this itinerary. Budapest, it is Budapest. They told told us, that was our tour guide's very first thing that she said. She said, make sure we're not pesty. So it's not Budapest, it is Budapest. Buda is on one side of the river and Pest is on the other side. So Buda is kind of the more historical side of the city. That's kind of where their parliament building is and that sort of thing. You can see the shoes along the Danube, just a monument, of course, to World War II and those that lost their lives, of course. So definitely, it's about I would say about a 10-minute walk from where the ship docks, just down the river. So it's a very, very beautiful walk at night. It's all lit up and everything. I definitely recommend going for a walk later in the evening when it's all lit up. And then Vienna is an awesome place. I went out to the Schönbrunn Palace, and they told us all about, of course, the Habsburg family that lived out there. And what a little fun thing that our tour guide said, there's, of course, the palace. They give you a tour of a bunch of different rooms in the palace. They take you outside to the grounds, which of course are gorgeous. And just beyond the grounds, there's another kind of almost mini palace, and they called it the mother Habsburg, of course. They called it her she shed. So if I could have a mini palace as a she shed at home, wouldn't that be cool? Yeah, so definitely go see her she shed if you have enough time to go to the Schönbrunn Palace there in Vienna. And then last but not least, of course, is Regensburg. Regensburg is absolutely fantastic. And the reason for that is it's known, of course, for the old sausage kitchen. I have a colleague in Colorado, and his name is Reiner, and he grew up in Regensburg. And I told him before I went there, I was in Regensburg last July, and I said, Reiner, what am I going to do in Regensburg? Like, tell me what I need to see. Like, what is the thing to do? And he said, you have to go to the old sausage kitchen. Of course, it's been there for hundreds of years, and the recipe has never changed. And you literally can smell it as soon as our ship docks. Open up hopefully you have, a sliding glass door, you have a patio door, a French veranda, a French balcony, a veranda, and you can smell the sausage. Oh, it smells so good. Definitely take advantage of that and go to the old sausage kitchen. Get yourself some of that German sausage on the sauerkraut. They sell their own mustard there as well. But one quick little tip I have for you: there's a little kind of souvenir shop just across the street from Old Sausage Kitchen. It's right on the corner, and they actually sell the Old Sausage Kitchen mustard in the souvenir shop. So if you don't, there can be, depending on the time of day and that sort of thing, the time of year, there can be a little bit of a line. Believe me, I waited in line and it went really fast. So don't worry about if there is a line. But so if you want to wait in line to buy the mustard or whatever, you certainly can. But you can also just go across the street and get the mustard too. So and that sort of stuff can be taken home, of course, in your checked luggage. Keep that in mind. All right. Now here's just a quick overview. This is the reason why I can't talk about every single itinerary, right? A quick just kind of peek at a lot of other itineraries that we do, of course, in Europe. These are the ones in Europe on this side. We have Southeast Asia as well as Egypt. Now, this Paris in the heart of Normandy one, I like to point this out. And the reason for that is because we are booking into 24 and 2025 right now. So in Paris in the heart of Normandy, that right now, we actually we have that itinerary, but we also did a special one because it's the 80th anniversary of D-Day next year, around June of next year. So it's a cruise tour option. It goes from London, and then it kind of connects to do this Paris in the heart of Normandy, or portion of this, and it really highlights that 80th anniversary of D-Day there. So if World War II is something that's super important to you, I highly recommend you book that one early, because I have no doubt that's going to sell out very fast. We actually just opened that the 80-day anniversary one a few weeks ago, so I anticipate that definitely selling out fast. France's Finest as well. Here's the three that we talked about right here. And then the Danube Waltz is the other one that's very similar to that Romantic Danube, but just doesn't have the same number of overnights. So just keep that in mind. A few ideas out there for you for other options other than the ones I had mentioned. All right, and here's just a peek at our ship. This is the long ship that I had spoke about, of course. The sun deck is what I was talking about when I said, hey, if you have a scenic sailing day, you can go up there on the sun deck, and you can still hear the program director talk about all those things that you're passing. And then you'll see right here where the restaurant is. Those are those floor to ceiling windows in the restaurant. And then the lounge and Viking bar are just the floor above it right here. And you'll see this is the one side of the ship with the veranda suites right here. The other side of the ship has the French balconies, just to keep that in mind. All right. We are known for our aquavit terrace right out on the bow of the ship. You'll notice this when I show you some pictures on the ocean as well as expedition. We also have the aquavit terrace. All of our guests tell us how much they love the aquavit terrace. There's some actual like little rocking chairs out here, and you'll notice you don't have a wall, disturbing your view. This is all glass out here out front, so you can sit in these rocking chairs, enjoy a coffee or a beverage of your choice. You can even come out here and have lunch or breakfast, that sort of thing, and then just enjoy the fresh air. Hopefully it's a nice day out there while you're enjoying your lunch and breakfast out there. All right, this is just kind of a look at one of the staterooms. This is our veranda stateroom. So there are chairs out there. There is a veranda out there. Obviously, there wouldn't be actually somewhere you could walk out there if it was the French side of the river ship, of our long ships. There would just be the patio door here and the railing. So you actually don't have chairs out there. You just have the door that opens to get some fresh air. So one thing you'll notice, the bed is rather high. You can see kind of how high it is compared to where the desk and the dresser is over here. It is because you can get your luggage under there. Definitely unpack, get comfortable. You can relax for your vacation, put your stuff in the drawers and just hide your luggage away. You don't want to be tripping it over it all your entire time while sailing with us, and makes it super handy. So the bed is a little high, so you can stick it under there. Now, another thing you can't really tell, but our outlets are 110 and 220 outlets. So you don't actually need a converter when you're sailing with us. We have USB ports as well to charge all your electronics, and you don't need a converter. But keep in mind, if you book your pre and post with your Bursch Travel advisor, I highly recommend you do bring a converter, because those European hotels, you will need it in any hotels that you're staying in Europe. A couple things you don't see as well. I did mention I would talk about the infotainment system. There's a big TV right here. It's very, very easy to use. I know Tor Hagen, our chairman and founder, he just wanted to make it very simple. He didn't want you guys coming to sail with us and being like, have this difficult remote to figure out, and how do I even turn this thing on, and how do I use this? He put very few buttons on the remote, so it's a custom remote. So if you're using the Viking app, my Viking Journey app, or the TV here, you can see your schedule of activities on here, your optional excursions, the included excursions. The My Viking Daily is on here as well. So kind of your schedule of events and that sort of thing is kind of the infotainment system. And if you want to kind of see what your friends are doing, there's usually there's a video of the lounge on there too. So if you can see your friends at the bar or something like that. So it's a little a peaking system too. So, but another thing you don't see you don't see on here is our bathrooms. I can say that the bathrooms are the best thing about sailing with us. And the reason for that is because we have heated bathroom floors. No one else can say they have heated bathroom floors. And it is really, really a great experience to be able to do that. If if you get up early in the morning, the floors can be cold and that sort of thing. There's even a little knob in there where you can turn it up or turn it down. Maybe you just want it to be a little bit warm, but not cold, that sort of thing. Maybe you like it really hot. So that's an option. But also a couple other things in the bathroom is the mirror. I know us ladies might appreciate this. Men, I'm not saying you don't use mirrors, but ladies, we tend to spend a little bit more time getting ready typically. So you might appreciate that you can actually take a shower and get ready, because our mirrors are anti-fog and heated as well. So the mirror won't fog up after your hot shower. So that's really, really important. So you don't have to bring all of your stuff, lug it from the bathroom out to this big mirror out here. You can leave it all in the bathroom and actually get ready in there too. So it's super, super handy. Another thing about that too, we don't expect our guests to wear their glasses. I'm wearing glasses. I know, Gretchen, you have glasses too, but we don't expect you to wear your glasses in the shower. That tends to be prohibitive. So what our founder did, he put all the amenities, the shower, or the shampoo, excuse me, shampoo, conditioner, body wash, things like that. It's all capital letters, so it's super easy to read. Basically, just to make sure you're not putting body wash in your hair, right? We want to make sure that everyone can actually read the amenities as well. So a few little highlights of our stateroom. One thing that Viking is very, very proud of is that we're not only number one in river, we were named number one in river cruise line by Condé Nast Traveler, as well as Travel and Leisure, but also number one in ocean. We are the only company out there that can say we're number one in both the last 2 years, and it's being voted on again this year. So now we can say the last 2 years, hopefully we can say for 3 years pretty soon. So 21 and 22. So I'm going to go over a few things about Ocean now, just kind of switching gears to a slightly bigger ships, but still very, very small, kind of in the small ship category as far as Ocean goes. So this is kind of a very similar picture to what we saw on the riverside, but this is Ocean. So a few things I'm just going to point out. Like I said, there's that Aquavit Terrace. Everyone loved it on Ocean, on River, of course, so we put it on Ocean as well. I'm going to show you a few pictures of this PAPS and the Explorers Lounge up here. That's a 2-floor bar, basically. So with floor to ceiling windows right here in that Explorers Lounge. And then a few other things I wanted to point out as well. Well, the 3-deck atrium is where you enter the ship, and then alternative restaurants and the restaurants down here. All right, we'll take a look at those here shortly and just kind of talk about the food, because the food is awesome, right? So here's a quick picture of that 3-deck atrium. We did see this picture earlier, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. But one thing I like to point out is the picture of the ship up here. It's actually a big screen. It is not like a big piece of art that's completely static. So it's a big screen, and the picture changes every so often. It doesn't change every few minutes. It's probably more like a few hours, something like that. But you'll notice it changes kind of a couple times throughout the day. And here's a picture of that Explorers Lounge, like I just mentioned. It is the floor to ceiling window, so you don't miss anything of the destinations, anything about the destination, of course, that you're passing. And there's the glass hand railing for the second level of that Explorers Lounge there. So I've been told, I haven't been on our ocean ships yet, but I've been told this is the spot to hang out after dinner. So after dinner, come here and kind of just hang out with your friends, talk about your day and maybe what you're doing the next day. This is just a picture of our winter garden. This is basically the place where you can go lounge and kind of have an afternoon tea service, that sort of thing, maybe read a book, just a very comfortable area to visit on the ship, of course. And it's kind of mimicked after the Norwegian forests. So these are meant to look like trees and those light-filled woods, and make it look really, really kind of that Norwegian heritage in there. All right, this is a picture of the main pool with retractable roof. So obviously, if it's nicer out, they'll have the roof open. It's maybe on a little bit on the cooler side, they'll have that roof closed. And you can see through the windows right there, there is what we just saw, the winter garden back there. All right, this is a picture of the spa. I had already mentioned kind of the amenities in the spa are included. There's no entrance fee for the spa. You just have to pay for the services and of course sign up for a time. All right, these are the best dining choices at sea. And why I can say that is because Viking does not charge you extra for going to specialty dining. You can go, our specialty dining options are Manfredi's and the chef's table. Basically just more intimate options. If you don't want to dine at the restaurant again, make reservations for one of these two. You can make the reservations in advance as well, and I highly recommend that if you can. Don't worry, if you can't make your reservations in advance, you can just talk to guest services when you get on board, and they'll try to find a spot for you, because it's inevitable that somebody will probably cancel their reservations and you'll be able to get in. And Manfredi's is Italian, of course, and Chef's Table, you can get your steaks and that sort of thing there. But like I said, you don't pay extra. You can get a steak at the restaurant if you want, but if you want a more intimate experience, I definitely recommend one of these more specialty restaurants. Mamsen's Norwegian Deli, that's called Mamsen's because it's named after Tor's mom. So it's kind of a homage to his mom there. That's kind of a place you can go for basically some late night snacks. They kind of have split pea soup and other things there, but they also have Nordic waffles. I highly recommend you go there and try the Nordic waffles. They are absolutely fantastic. We already talked about the high tea service there at the Winter Garden. And then the World Cafe and Aquavit Terrace. Now the World Cafe is what I would relate to. I hate to say it, but kind of like what you'd expect a buffet to be, but it's not really a buffet. So I think the best way to describe it is to tell you buffet, but World Cafe is more of the type of space where you can get made to order. So let's say you do want a steak, and you go to the World Cafe, they'll make it just like you want it. So it's not like you go pick a steak out of a of a hot tray or anything like that. It's made to order. So they'll make it right there in front of you, piping hot, so it's nice and hot. You'll have your nice hot steak. And of course the Aquavit Terrace out here as well. The pool grill where you can go get your nachos and that sort of thing, and of course 24-hour room service on Ocean. All right, and here's just a few highlights of ocean, like I had mentioned. I'm not going to go through everything on all of our ocean itineraries, but I do want to start off with this iconic Western Mediterranean. And the reason for that is we do lots of Mediterranean cruises. So this one happens to be Barcelona to Rome, of course, or vice versa. There is an overnight in Barcelona as well as Florence and Pisa there. 5 guided tours. So because we include shore excursions, of course, on ocean as well. So on all of our sailings, whether it's river or ocean expedition in Mississippi. So there's that one included shore excursion. And now here's a peek at that Mediterranean itinerary on the map. So it's the same itinerary, just taking a peek at it at the map. The reason I like to show you the map is because it is, of course, the Mediterranean Sea out here, but we do go all around the boot. We have itineraries that do that. We have itineraries that go to Dubrovnik, Croatia, Greece, as an example. So it is not exclusive to the iconic Western Mediterranean that I'm showing you here. So there are lots of different options in the Med. All right, we also do Alaska in the Inside Passage, and I'm not gonna lie, we do Alaska better than anyone because we do stay so close to the destination. We do sail so close. And what I highly recommend here is to talk to your Bursch Travel advisor. And if you can, this one is 11 days, 7 guided tours. And if you can do a little bit longer, definitely recommend partnering it with a Rocky Mountaineer luxury train ride. So you can do that before or after, obviously, but depending on if you start in Vancouver or end in Vancouver, it can be a pre or post. So that is an amazing train ride, and also partnering it back to back with your Viking cruise through Alaska and the Inside Passage would be absolutely amazing to add that extension on there. All right. And then Iceland has been a super, super hot destination. This one is round trip Reykjavik. And I am only going to say Reykjavik. I am from Minnesota and I do not speak Icelandic. So these other towns I know are Tor Hagen, our founder and chairman. I've already mentioned him a few times. His daughter, Karina, she does the voice of all of our Viking commercials and the voice of a lot of stuff, but she speaks something like 6 languages and she can say these effortlessly. So I will let her do that. She is absolutely amazing woman. I'm not going to do that justice. So yes, we go all the way around Iceland. And it is an amazing, amazing itinerary, 8 days and 6 guided tours there. Okay, and here's just a peek at some of our other itineraries. Scandinavian, Northern Europe. This is kind of where Viking was born, right? This is our homeland. So that's why we call it Viking homelands up here, up there in Scandinavia. Viking Shores and Fjords is also a very popular itinerary. So that's why I like pointing out both of those. Now, keep in mind, I believe Bursch also has a group going next year in 24. So I'm unsure about the inventory left on that ship because that does sell out fast. But keep that in mind. There is a group that Bursch has for Viking Shores and Fjords. All right, Mediterranean and Adriatic, like I had mentioned, this is the one I had already brought up, the iconic Western Mediterranean, but we also have several other Mediterranean itineraries, like I had mentioned. And then just one more, we do Americas in the Caribbean. Panama Canal happens to be a really popular one. I already mentioned Alaska there. Asia and Australia, that's 15 days. To Australia and New Zealand there, Sydney to Auckland. But then we also combine ocean and river voyages. So we already talked about the Rhine. So that's the Rhine getaway. That's the river portion of it there. Then Viking Shores and Fjords is the ocean part of it. And then the Grand European Tour is the 15 days on the rivers there. And then Viking Fjords is the end of it on ocean there. Now, if we're combining river and ocean, how do we expect you to get from one ship to the other, right? Well, we make you swim, right? No. I promise we don't make you swim. We'll get you from one to the other, no problem whatsoever. So if you definitely can't decide, oh, I don't know if I want to do river or ocean, why not do them both, right? All right, just a few more things here. I know it's getting kind of late, guys, and we'll have time for questions here. So I'm just going to highlight a few things on our newest ships, Viking Expedition. So we just launched the Viking Octantis and Viking Polaris. Both of those are coming through the Great Lakes now, so all the way to Duluth, even Milwaukee, and several spots throughout Minnesota, Wisconsin, and of course into Canada as well through the Welland Canal. What's special about expedition ships? Not only does it go through the Great Lakes, but it also goes to Antarctica. And we do partner with these research institutes and scientific institutes to have a scientist on each one of our itineraries. So you have the opportunity to shadow these scientists and release weather balloons and really see what they're researching if that's what you're curious about. If you really, we're the only ones that have this type of partnership, and we actually published a research paper back in, I think it was November or December, based on a 13-foot jellyfish they discovered while they were in Antarctica. So you can discover new things with these scientists that other people, very rarely see. So it's really, really an exciting opportunity to be able to see what these researchers are doing. All right, these are just a few spots on our expedition ships, the Finsa Terrace. Now, honestly, just let me point this out. Like, why would you want to sit outside in the cold in the Antarctica, right? Why would you want to sit outside? Well, these seats are heated, so you can comfortably sit outside in the Arctic, and just look out while everything else stays warm, right? Obviously, there are fireplaces out here too, but the fireplaces are just for decoration. They aren't going to keep you warm, right? The aula back here is basically aula is auditorium. It's Norwegian. The screen is up here. It is retractable because of those floor to ceiling windows. So if let's say the scientist is doing a lecture in there and telling you what he's going to be doing, he or she is going to be researching the following days and that sort of thing. If they see something outside, they can pull up that screen and they can talk about whatever you're seeing outside, the whales or penguins and that sort of thing. So we've already seen the Explorer's Lounge. This is basically just a different picture of it, but there's the Explorer's Lounge on Expedition as well as the one we saw on Ocean. But like I said, it's that 2-floor bar and floor to ceiling windows. You're just not going to miss a thing when you're there, at the bar enjoying your favorite beverage. Nordic balcony staterooms, I'll talk about that here in a second, but awesome staterooms. And like I said, all exterior staterooms, so everyone's going to have that floor to ceiling window there. And Expedition Central is that place where you kind of get together with the scientists and for your shore excursions and that sort of thing, and they'll explain what they're going to do, and how things are going to work. So another area here on our expedition ships are the pools. So this one's very similar. You can see kind of the winter garden back there, but then it kind of comes into that area back here in the back of the picture where it's that retractable roof. So it is the heated pool back there and everything, and retractable roof. But then there's 3 pools out here. You're gonna notice they're separated. And the reason they're separated is because they have 3 different temperatures. So it's a kind of a Norwegian tradition, to have 3 different temperatures in pools. And of course, I'd highly recommend you go from cooler to warmer. Now it's completely up to you. You can certainly start in the warmer one and go into the cooler one. But yeah, that's kind of one of those Nordic traditions that Tor wanted implemented on his expedition ship. One thing, we've already seen a picture of the spa on Ocean, but this is a little bit unique on Expedition. And the reason I say that is because we have a snow grotto. So those of us in the kind of more northern states, right? Well, we can technically just open our door and get snowed on, but hey, Nordic tradition on our ship says that you need to go in the snow grotto and get snowed on. And then you go to the sauna and you do that 3 times, go back and forth. And apparently it's very good for your circulation. So I definitely recommend that you give it a try if you have never been snowed on. But the snow grotto is that first picture right there, is that brightly colored door. And while you're enjoying the spa, of course, there's those floor to ceiling windows again, because you can't miss the destination while you're enjoying the spa, right? I just honestly think, since I'm from a northern climate and from Minnesota, that we just have really good circulation up here because we get snowed on all the time. So, right? All right, another awesome fun thing about our expedition ships is we have these awesome toys you can use. Now, the majority of these are free to use. The subs now there's a small cost to using the subs. It's basically like an optional excursion on these subs, but I'll tell you a fun story about these in a second. But there are the military pro Zodiacs, fleet of military pro Zodiacs, that you can go out with the scientists, explore things, a small group of people, of course, on those, and when the weather conditions permit, right? And when the captain says it's safe to do so. We also have custom kayaks. Now, these kayaks are a little bit different than the ones you might see on different lakes and things around. They have pedals, kind of like a bike right here. So you can have your hands free to take pictures, use your binoculars and that sort of thing. But of course, we're not going to leave you without a paddle. We'll give you a paddle too, I suppose, right? So there are several of those on board as well. Now let's get to the 2 6-seater submarines. We do actually have 2 submarines on board, and you can certainly sign up to use those as an optional excursion. It does depend on the destination, on where we're able to use any of these, what we like to call toys on board. The US, as an example, doesn't allow us to use these. There's a little thing called the Jones Act. It's a maritime law that says basically, it doesn't literally name Viking or anything, but it says you can't use these toys in our waters. So there's a few itineraries that spend more time in Canadian waters and even Antarctica and that sort of thing where you can use them. Some of the Caribbean islands don't allow us to use the toys either. So it just depends on the destination. And we can kind of, your Bursch travel advisor can kind of help you navigate. If it's important to you to use these toys and use these toys in every port, or try to obviously get on something, then definitely a Bursch travel advisor can kind of help you navigate which itinerary is best. Now, our founder and chairman, Tor Hagen, he loves the Beatles. So yes, they are actually yellow submarines. I've seen them. I've never been on one, but I've seen them. And they are actually yellow submarines. And I promise you, I was on the Viking Octantis, and they are named Paul and John. So, and the Polaris, of course, are the other 2 Beatles, right? George and Ringo. So yes, we do have 4 yellow submarines on our 2 different ships. The most popular toy to use on board, though, we've discovered everyone loves the convertible SOBs, and I know SOB stands for something completely different, but it is Special Operation Boat. So I should probably update this picture on it, to be honest with you, because it does have a roof on it. So this picture, it shows it without a roof, but these seats are super, super comfortable to use, or to sit on, I should say, right? You get on and off these right inside the hangar. And what I mean by the hangar, it's basically like you'll go down some stairs, and it's basically kind of the basement of the ship. And the hangar, you'll go ahead and get on these, and when it comes back, you'll get off them right inside the hangar. So you don't have to deal with the wind and the rain and the waves and all that, and trying to get on and off and navigate that. You don't have to worry about any of that. It's super, we make it super easy and comfortable to get on and off these right inside the hangar. And then there's a slipway. We have a slipway functionality basically that takes it out into the water and brings it right back in. So it makes it a really comfortable ride. Now, just kind of quickly go over the Nordic balcony stateroom. What's special about this, of course, this we call it Nordic balcony because you can't actually walk out onto the balcony. We make it a balcony like by this window coming, this window comes halfway down. So the top part of this window comes all the way down if you want to, right? It is chilly out there, but you can get some nice brisk fresh air. There's a little button here because we don't expect you to heave it up and heave it down or anything like that. So there's a little button right over here that you can put it up and down. Now this white spot right here is also almost like a little shelf. So you can use it to, use your binoculars, that sort of thing, take really steady pictures, put a beverage there, that sort of thing. It's a little, like I said, a little shelf there, a little ledge. Otherwise, you can see kind of the furnishings, everything, very, very, very comfortable to sail with us to Antarctica or the Great Lakes, of course. Here's just a highlight of a few itineraries. I had already mentioned Antarctica, Buenos Aires to Ushuaia. And just something to quickly point out here in Antarctica, it just says days 4 through 10 that we're in Antarctica. Now, I'm going to go to the next slide here because it shows the map. Now, why would we say that, right? Well, the waters down there in the Drake Passage, they're the roughest waters in the world. And our ship is the safest ship. We're a Polar Class 6 ship. That's a highest class level that you can sail. And we're the only ones at that Polar Class 6 level. And the reason why we say days 4 through 10, just kind of exploring at Antarctica, well, the captain is going to make sure that wherever they stop, they're going to make sure it's safe to get off the ship, and safe to kind of obviously get off and back on, that sort of thing. And so they just kind of say that we're going to stop somewhere in this area to make sure it's safe, safe to do so, safe to use those toys on board and that sort of thing as well. All right, and here's a couple other highlights of our expedition itineraries. Like I said, those toys, if those important to you, they spend more time here in Georgian Bay in Canada, more time and just in Canada on these itineraries here. So there's Thunder Bay here in Canada as well. There's a little more in the US on this itinerary than this one. So this is the one where I would highly recommend if you're interested in those toys. All right, just a few. I'm going to go quickly through the Mississippi. I know we're running out of time here, guys. This is our newest ship on, of course, on the Mississippi. We only have one ship on the Mississippi right now. and a quick 4 itineraries sailing the Mississippi. So it'll come back here to the Midwest here about June, July timeframe to do the 15 days as well as the 8 days America's Heartland. So our Viking Mississippi is down here doing these 2 itineraries right now to Memphis and of course Mississippi here as well. All right, I'm born and raised and I still live in Minnesota, and I at one point said this was in St. Paul. I know better, guys. I really do. I promise. You just get to talking and you're like, hey, there's a picture of the Mississippi in St. Paul. No, it's not St. Paul. But the reason I like this picture is because it shows, it's a great picture of our ship. And it shows that our ship does not have a paddle wheel on the back. That's what I love about this picture. Most of the ships along the Mississippi, of course, have the classic paddle wheel, but we said, no, you know what, we're Viking. We don't have paddle wheels. We put an infinity pool on the back instead. So you can kind of pretend like you're swimming in the Mississippi, but it's much cleaner. All right, here's just a peek at those staterooms on the Mississippi. I'm not going to go through each one of these pictures, but you can kind of just see what the Mississippi looks like. And it looks very, very similar to all the other pictures we've seen, of course, on ocean and river. What we love about, what our guests love about our ships is just that, those light woods, very Scandinavian feel, and very comfortable to sail with us. And we applied that to Mississippi as well. The Aquavit Terrace, of course, we've seen that on a few other ships as well. Explorer's Lounge, we also applied that on Mississippi. The bow of the ship looks very, very close to what the Finca Terrace on Expedition that we just saw. And there's that infinity plunge pool, so you can pretend you're swimming right there in the Mississippi. Nice and clean water that you're swimming in. All right, so if you can't make a decision, let's just say you don't know if you want to go river, ocean, or maybe you just want to sail the world with us, right? You know, sell your cars, board the dog, and sail with us for 138 days and 57 guided tours in 28 countries. So we do sell out, believe it or not, these world cruises. We have anything from 180 days to this one, 138 days. We have longitudinal cruises that are 71 days, I believe, something like that. So it's an amazing experience to sail to all these destinations have all your stuff in one place. So definitely take advantage of something like that when you can. And this is just a quick reminder of that shipboard credit that you only get booking with your Bursch Travel advisor, of course. So please reach out to them in the next few days. Of course, it does expire at mid-April there. So. All right. Well, thank you so much for tonight. I know Gretchen's going to pop back on. We'll answer questions, that sort of thing. So I just want to thank everybody for sticking with me.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rebecca. Wow. I'm just like lost on river cruises in Europe, on the Mississippi, on those beautiful ocean going ships of yours. Fantastic. Lots and lots of good information. So best way, because I think everybody's a bit overwhelmed with all the choices. So the best way is to reach out to your Bursch or your Pegasus travel advisor. And we've kind of developed a way of doing business a little bit more efficiently, where we're asking you to set up an appointment with your travel advisor. That way we can provide the service and the time that we like to with each client to make sure that we're getting questions answered, we're getting the research done. And that just gives everybody a better chance to have some time with the advisor. So basically, the best way, if you have questions, if you want to contact your advisor directly, you can email them if you have their email address. If you don't, you can call. All of our locations are located on burschtravel.com under locations. They are listed there with the phone number. And also there's a contact us form there. So if it's easier for you to just fill out that form and submit it, we have a whole department that handles those requests and get those sent out to the proper travel advisor to respond and get back to you. Or if it's just some general information, we can respond on that also. And you can also, if want to visit your local office, pop in and see if you can set up an appointment. That works too. But now that COVID is kind of hopefully in our rearview mirror, everybody is excited to get back out and travel, and you can see why after listening to tonight's fantastic presentation. And I apologize, I'm gone off the screen. I thought I was stopping my video, but I completely disappeared, I think. So anyhow, I apologize for that, but reach out to your Bursch Traveler or Pegasus travel advisor, and they can do some research and start booking and take advantage of that $100 shipboard credit because there's, I don't know, you can use it towards I don't know, shore excursion or one of those cool nifty shirts, those Viking shirts from the gift shop. So if you have any questions, go ahead and put them into the chat box. I don't see anything popping in here right now, but also remember that we did record. I know some people had some problems with some video and audio and had to drop off and come back in, might have missed part of the presentation. Or if you have friends or family that would be interested, that you want to share this with and get to planning and thinking about what you might want to do, you can have them watch the recording. It will be uploaded on our website, probably not until next week. The person that does that is on vacation this week, so check out, it's possible that it might be uploaded this week, but go to burschtravel.com under services and then travel seminars, and there's a big button there with YouTube, and it'll take you to our YouTube channel where you can watch and listen to this recording. So
Gretchen, I did see one question come in about deposit and cancellation policies.
Oh,
and
good.
How far in
Okay.
advance? Yeah. How far in advance do you need to make reservations or booking, right? How early do you need to book? Honestly, for ocean, I know you're specifically asking for ocean, Jeffrey, but as early as possible. We have ocean booking out as late as 2025. So if you're really picky about the date you want to go in your stateroom, I definitely encourage you to book as soon as possible, because we do book out at least a year in advance or more. But deposit and cancellation policies, honestly, right now we have the $25 deposit. So that's an awesome promo to take advantage of. And cancellation policies will differ based on when you're going and itinerary and ocean, river, that sort of thing. So definitely read that carefully, obviously, and talk to your Bursch travel advisor, Bursch or Pegasus, of course, travel advisor about that when you're ready to book. Okay.
Yeah, we can, and the advisor can reiterate all that and get that information to you so you know what to expect. And then we always recommend travel insurance too, to protect that investment and for many other reasons, while you're traveling, and protect any kind of penalties that might occur, that, you're protected then with any kind of cancel penalties. So
It's
that's
so
something to
worth
keep
it.
in mind.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
100%. Yeah, recommend it. Your Bursch travel advisors are there for you. They're there to help you not only book your Viking cruise, but also to help ensure that you have a good experience, right? So definitely use them for their expertise. They're amazing, amazing people.
Okay, I'm not seeing any other questions. So I think we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Again, like I said, you can rewatch the video, the recording, check the website. If not this week, it'll definitely be up next week, and will be accessible through the YouTube channel to watch. But thank you so much, Rebecca. I appreciate it. I'm hungry now from seeing all that food, so I'm gonna have to go have something to eat. And again, thank you everyone for your time this evening and for participating with us tonight on this very interesting webinar. So good night, everybody. Bye-bye.